Hear how one UA group is helping families thousands of miles away. See the up-and-coming players for next year's football team, and learn some quick safety tips you should use if you're traveling during spring break. All this and more tonight on Wildcast.
Live from the University of Arizona UA TV studio, this is Wildcast.
Welcome to Wildcast. I'm Danielle Carpenter. Serena Nafarate has the night off, but thanks for joining me tonight. An organization by the name of One is changing millions of lives around the world. Wildcast reporter Carla Zarga has more on how UA students are making their voices heard.
One is a non-granted making organization which raises public awareness and works with political leaders to combat AIDS and preventable diseases, increase investments in agriculture and nutrition, and demand greater transparency in poverty-fighting programs.
What we do is we advocate to fight against extreme poverty and preventable diseases and other life-threatening issues in places like Africa. And how we do that is by getting students like you to support our bill and to tweet to our member of Congress urging him to support bills such as the Electrify Africa Act, which is right now in the House of Representatives. And it's a bill that would give 50 million people in Africa electricity for the first time ever.
One, unlike many other organizations, does not ask for money, but only for your voices to be heard. They push governments to shape policy solutions that save and improve millions of lives.
I feel it's very important that we help others that don't have a voice and give our voice for them. And so it's a great opportunity for anyone that loves like global health type stuff, public health, agriculture, engineers. So it pretty much ties in with anything everyone does.
7.5 million people living in Africa today have access to life-saving AIDS medication, compared to the year 2000 when only 50,000 people had access, and the death of malaria all across Africa has been cut down to half.
I love my job. I love what I do. I love the opportunity to work with dedicated college students in the fight against extreme poverty and what I see as one of the biggest social injustices of our generation. And I have the opportunity to work with some of the top student leaders and advocates in the country around some of this incredibly important advocacy work and legislation. And as a student who was involved with one myself when I was in college, I can kind of see firsthand the power of grassroots mobilizing and that young people have in kind of catalyzing change for the biggest injustice of our generation.
Though the organization is worldwide, here at the University of Arizona, a chapter has been created to come together as one to strive for justice and equality. Reporting from the University of Arizona for Wildcast, I'm Karen Lizarraga.
The Sigma Alpha Ellipson fraternity, also known as SAE, has announced on Sunday that the fraternity will no longer continue the pledging process due to hazing. The frat is looking to make hazing a thing of the past and not to be a current or future issue. They have made a new program called the True Gentleman Experience, and the purpose of this program is to bring the frat back to its original roots and values. Hazing has always been against UA policy, but continues to be an issue in Greek life. With the whole fraternity's involvement, hopefully hazing will slowly become less of a problem. The U of A is currently looking for someone to fill the university's senior vice president for research position. 2 public forums were held last week to involve U of A students and employees in the selection process. 3 candidates are up for the position, and university officials hope these forums will aid in the decision-making process.
The president has made it very plain that she wants major input from everybody on campus.
Participants are provided feedback slips at the end of each forum. University officials intend on referencing these slips when making their final decision for filling the position. University officials have yet to announce when the third and final candidate will be visiting. President Ann Weaver Hart plans on having the senior VP for research position filled by July 1st at the latest. Tucson City Council has officially made March 31st Cesar Chavez Day. Chavez passed away almost 10 years ago. He was a dominant figure in the Chicano and Hispanic community. He was active in rights for farm workers and fought for these rights in a peaceful way. U of A even named a building after Chavez. In 2003, the former economics building was renamed after him. The purpose of this is to open students' eyes to Chavez because many are most likely not familiar with his contributions. His name will always be remembered by students by having a class in this building. The holiday is said not only to honor Chavez, but to educate youth of his impact. Stay with us after the break to see what new program the College of Education is putting forward.
All right, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
The life I lead is enough of a dog. I may have fleas, but I run a yard. I see those clones looking down on me, but unlike those clones, this dog is free. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life, dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life. UATV 3 UATV 3 When I turn on the TV, I turn it to channel 3, cause they got all the greatest shows that I've been waiting to see. It's entertaining to me, cause it's pertaining to me and all the other Wildcats in the student body. We're broadcasting live to all the residence halls, so all y'all's in the halls, turn your TVs on to channel 3 for Sheezy, so you can see me and all the other happy people down at UATV 3.
Welcome back. The U of A will be losing some big players due to graduation this year, and there are some big shoes to fill for next season. Wildcast reporter Riley Brown found out what players we should look out for in the fall.
Coming off of a 7-5 season with a win in the Advocare Independence Bowl in 2013, the Arizona Wildcats went back out on the practice field this week for the start of spring football. With the loss of key players Kadeem Carey, Marquise Flowers, Shaq Richardson, and senior quarterback B.J. Denker, the Cats are looking forward to a rebuilding season and growing as a young team.
Going from last year, I didn't really know the playbook as much as I could. Being a freshman now, I'm just trying to learn it as much as I can, try to help the team out as much as I can.
With the 28th ranked recruiting class in the nation and many players stepping into newly open leadership positions, the players and coaches are clear with their expectations for next season.
This team plays hard, and no woes, just comes out and tries to hit you in the mouth every play.
As only a sophomore, the expectations for Scooby and his defense are huge this year, and even more so now that he gets to take over senior linebacker Jake Fisher's number 33.
I've worn 33 my whole life since I was sophomore and 6 years old. Then it was my dad's number in college, and then just might as well just keep on wearing it. My birthday was Philip Anthony right the 3rd, and then that sounds pretty odd. They just got confused with my dad and my grandpa growing up, just Phil and Philip, and then ever since I was little I got dubbed as Scooby, just never looked back.
Unfortunately, football fans, there's still 4 months until we get to see our Wildcats in action, but be excited for a season of new faces and elevated play. Get ready to flip the switch in the home opener against UNLV on August 29th. Reporting from Kendall Field and St. Kitts Stadium for Wildcast, I'm Riley Brown.
The UA is already gearing up for next year's football season, but the basketball team is still playing. We'll turn over now to sports reporter Chelsea Moe to see how the Wildcats are doing. Chelsea?
Hello Wildcats! Number 7 Arizona softball completed its participation at the Judy Garman Classic by defeating San Jose State 8-1 on Sunday in Fullerton, California. Haley Wilson went 2 for 3 with a pair of RBI, including an RBI triple in the 4th inning. Arizona women's tennis knocked off number 28 Washington. Your AZ Cats are 1-0 in Pac-12 play. The United States Basketball Writers Association announced its annual district honors. They had head coach Sean Miller taking Coach of the Year honors, junior Nick Johnson claiming Player of the Year award from our district, and freshman Aaron Gordon joining Johnson on the all-district team. Arizona is one of 3 schools nationally to have both its districts Coach of the Year and Player of the Year. That's all in sports, and have a great and safe spring break. Back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. In other basketball news, Sean Miller, head of the men's basketball team, has been selected as an assistant coach for the 2014 USA Men's Under-18 national team. The team will compete at the FIBA Americas U18 Championship, with Miller assisting head coach Billy Donovan of the University of Florida and alongside fellow assistant Ed Cooley of Providence College. The competition will feature a U18 national team from 8 countries throughout the FIBA Americas zone, including Argentina, Brazil, Canada, the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, the United States, and Uruguay. The location and dates for the 2014 FIBA Americas U18 Championship are still to be announced. We're starting to get those hot temperatures Tucson is famous for again, and with the Tucson Festival of Books around the corner, locals are hoping for that the weather remains warm. We'll turn over to weather reporter Shay Sorensen to see if the sunshine is here to stay. Shay?
Good evening, Wildcats. Today we reached a high of 78 degrees, and the breezy conditions should subside as we head into Wednesday. The high tomorrow will be 77 with sunny conditions and some high clouds. The rest of the week will be in the mid to upper 70s with clear skies. As we head into this upcoming weekend, it will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. It looks like the perfect weather conditions for the Tucson Festival of Books. For those of you traveling to California for spring break, it looks like it will be sunny the whole week and with temps in the mid to upper 70s. Another spring break hotspot is Mexico, and it looks like there will be partly cloudy skies this weekend, but that should clear up by Monday. Wherever you go for spring break, be safe and have a good time. That is all I have for you, Wildcats, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Shay. Good news for some of you traveling for spring break, but remember, Wildcats, it's important to stay safe when you're out having fun. Wildcast reporter Chelsea Hemphill has some easy tips to help keep you safe.
According to the Travel Channel and DoSomething.org, Daytona Beach and Las Vegas are the #1 and the #2 travel destination for spring break participants. Over 1.5 million students go on spring break every year and spend over $1 billion during this time. The Spring Break Safety Fair exposed some simple tips that students can use when going on spring break.
If we're going to go to Mexico, knowing our limitations, knowing the legal drinking age, understanding that your cell phone's not going to work there unless you pay for that service, and then just, also traveling in groups, taking care of each other, and knowing your own limitations.
It is especially important to remember to stay safe if you are going to visit places such as Cabo, San Lucas, Cancun, and Rocky Point. These spring break hotspots are in Mexico, and according to Stratfor Global Intelligence, the threats from cartels and local gangs are high during this time. Students should be aware of the high crime rate around them and should do research on the documented phenomena that happen, such as cartel men setting up roadblocks disguised as government troops, or random kidnappings.
I've heard about stories about needles being sand, and you have that kind of stuff that we don't really want to deal with anymore. When you get an accidental needle stick, that causes very much an undue burden on the individual. They now have to go through vigorous tests, and they have to go through antivirals and stuff that, it's a very avoidable situation. Being aware of your surroundings is really what is the key to it, though. Knowing where you're at, knowing what's going on, and not consuming to the point where you black out and you're having to hope that someone's going to take care of you, because honestly, that's when you're going to find out that someone that might not always be there to take care of you, and you're going to be on your own, and that's when accidents happen on a regular basis.
Some major tips that Sergeant Barrera pointed out were that we should keep a specific amount of cash on us to keep better track of it, and that we should keep our personal belongings such as laptops and cameras inside a safe in our hotel room. He also said to travel in groups to make sure nobody gets lost from the group. This way we'll have a more enjoyable spring break.
And I think one of the important things too is just always knowing where you're going to be at certain times, so that way when you meet up there and they're late by an hour or something, that why are they late.
Students should also be aware of the law enforced by local authorities if traveling domestically or out of the country. Reporting at the University of Arizona Mall for Wildcast, I'm Chelsea Hemphill.
As always, thanks for tuning into Wildcast. You can watch us anytime online on our YouTube page, UATV-3. I hope you have a great spring break, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, Wildcats.